Hello, and welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley. For the next hour here on Verbling, we are going to continue a little series of 3 classes at this time period, yesterday, right now, and tomorrow, in which we are looking at reported speech. That is, reporting what someone has said specifically, or what they thought even. Um, okay. Reported speech has some things to be aware of, uh, which we'll be looking at again. You have to be aware that mostly that you might have to do some work with the verbs. For example, you might need to concern yourself with something called backshift, which is making the verb more in the past in order to properly use reported speech. And sometimes, because you're going to change the pronouns, if somebody said, "I hate spinach," if you report it, you would say, "He said he hates spinach." Okay. All right. So I have to change "I" to "he." He hates. Now I have to conjugate the verb with an S. So I may have to conjugate the verb because of pronoun shifts. Well, there's an example. All right, I said, "I hate spinach." Now, if I assume that the information is true, I don't have to do backshift. He said he hates spinach is fine. But if I'm not sure if that information is true, then I do have to use backshift. He said he hated spinach. Hated, past tense. That's the most basic backshift from present tense to past tense. Okay, anyway, that's basically just what reported speech is. Today we're going to look at how a couple of special qualities of using reported speech to report requests and questions. That's our main focus today. So, hello Heidi, welcome back.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Likewise. Heidi, when are you going to clean your house? Oh, you already did it. Oh, I thought earlier that you were telling me, excuse me, that you still had to clean your house. I misunderstood. Okay. Okay. Fine then. All right. Welcome to the class then.
Thank you.
All right. Welcome back, Demas. Hi again.
Yeah, hi again.
Okay. All right. Let's get to it. I'm gonna do some screen share some information. We'll look at basically what happens when we're reporting requests, and then we'll give it a little practice. You guys will form some sentences to practice what we hopefully have learned. So here we go. Okay, transforming questions or question requests. Check whether you have to change the pronouns, as I just mentioned. Possibly, I did not mention, you might have to change place and time expressions as well. Okay, let's look at an example of reporting a request. If the direct speech, that is what was initially first said and spoken directly, if the direct speech sentence is Carol, speak English. All right, that sounds like a command to me more than a request, but okay. Reported speech. In reported speech, we would report it by saying, for example, he told Carol to speak English. Okay, notice the inclusion of to here. All right. Obviously, I'm adding the pronoun he. It's possible that I might change Carol if it's already known. I can if I want to. If I know the speaker knows it's Carol, I can say he told her to speak English. So that pronoun may also change. Okay. What's happening here is we have to include to for commands. For requests or commands, tenses are not relevant. So actually it's a little bit easier doing reported speech because we don't really have to worry about the verb tense because what we're doing is we're changing it to an infinitive verb to speak. Infinitive verbs don't have tense. They're infinitive. It's the base form of the verb plus to in front. All right, to plus the infinitive verb. So one more example, and then we'll give it a try. All right. So here's the command. Simple enough sentence. Say hello to your mom. Say hello to your mom for me is very common for English speakers. Pass on my regards to your mom. Okay. This is a very common thing to say. So in reported speech, she asked me in the past, okay, our leading statement. She asked me, she told me, she said, past tense. She asked me to say hello to my mom. Or obviously, if you're talking to the mom, she asked me to say hello to you. If you were actually talking to your mother later. Or again, the pronouns can change around. Sarah asked me to say hello to you, Mom. If we're talking about a negative request, then we simply include not to. So one more example. All right, here's a request, command, I don't know. Don't give up, Bob. He advised. Oh, well, there's another one, but still past tense. Leading statement. He advised Bob not to give up. But once again, it's a negative infinitive, but it's an infinitive. So it's actually quite simple to report commands and requests. Heidi?
Yeah.
If the
Mm,
all right, if the direct
okay.
okay, let's
The robbery said.
okay, direct speech said. Yeah, go ahead.
The robbery said, "Give me your wallet."
Okay. All right. So a robber said. All right. All right. Well, let's robber. Okay. All right. So his direct speech. Give me your wallet.
What?
Definitely a command. I think.
The robbery ordered me to give him my wallet.
The robber
A
ordered
robber ordered me
me. Okay.
to give him my wallet.
Excellent. All right. There you go. That's perfect. All right. Okay. The robber ordered me. Excellent choice. Yet another speaking verb, past tense. All right. Notice the shift in. Oh no. Yes, it is a shift in pronouns to give him because me becomes him, right? And the infinitive. There we go. The robber ordered me to give him my wallet. Okay. Excellent. Good job. All right, Demas. Can you think of an example? Demas, you there?
Call her mother.
All right, direct speech. Okay. Call. Oh, what? Call your mother?
Your mother. Call your mother.
Yeah, of course you wouldn't say call. Well, no, I guess it's possible to say call her mother, somebody else. All right. Okay, call your mother. All right. Stick with that. Simpler. All right. What would the reported speech look like?
Um, he asked me to call his mother.
He asked me to call his mother? Are you sure about
Yeah,
that? If he said call your mother, then he asked me to call my mother.
My mother, yeah.
Yeah, not his mother. If we
Mhm.
wanted his mother, it would have to be call the original statement would have to be call my mother. Well, he asked me to
Okay.
call his mother. Now that makes sense. You see. Okay. Let's throw something else, another element in here. Um, okay. All right. Heidi, now, all right.
Mhm.
Try to follow me here, and I'll try to follow myself. All right. The situation, okay. Um, it's today. Okay. Today is Monday, let's say. I know today's not Monday. Let's use today. Today's Wednesday. Okay. Today's Wednesday. All right. Um, okay. Uh, if the direct statement were somebody said, uh, oops, okay, meet me here tomorrow at this time. All
Mhm.
right. All right. So we've got elements of place. We've got time elements as well. How do we cope with this if we're doing reported speech? Now, you're going to do reported speech, but today is now Thursday.
Oh,
Okay, wait. Well, I'm not done torturing you yet.
then
Today is Thursday, and you are in a different place. Ah, uh-huh. Okay.
he said that. He said to
Hmm.
meet me,
Yes,
meet
yes.
to meet me. To
Meet.
he said he told me to meet him.
Okay.
Which is better? He told
Said
me
to meet him, or he told me to meet him. Either one. They're equally okay.
to told me to meet him today.
Yeah, all right.
Today at the same place, at the same time, at the same time and the same place as yesterday.
That's one way to do it. Okay. At the same, yes, that is one way to do it. And same time and place as yesterday. So you're using a comparative sentence construction. Yes, that's clear. That's perfectly correct. There's nothing wrong with that. He told me mhm, to meet him today. Again, all right, it's a request or command. So again, very good. You're using the infinitive. That is correct. You've got your pronouns right. Shift in time from tomorrow to today. That is correct. And then you have this explaining couple of all right, e- e- explaining, helping you explain the prepositional phrases in a comparative statement. Same time and place as yesterday. All right, that works. Is there another way to do it, Demas? Could I report the speech in a different way? And I already know the answer. Yes, I could. Is there a different way
Mm.
to report this the next day? Today's Thursday. You're in a different place.
He told me to meet him there,
There you go.
mm, there, there, mm, there at the same time.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. There. This is also very common in reported speech, like here becomes there, if you're in a different place. Obviously, if you're in the same place, you would say he told me to meet him here. You wouldn't have to change. So sometimes reported speech involves also changing here and there or changing times. Uh, changing the time phrase or word. Okay, great job. All right, let me share some more information about questions. All right, hang on just a sec. Okay, once again, when transforming questions, check whether you have to change our friends the pronouns. Again, if we're changing a pronoun, we may have to conjugate the verb differently. That means just add an S or remove an S from the verb. That's all that's talking about. As in, I run, he runs. Place and time expressions, which is what we just looked at here and there, and today, tomorrow, and today. And backshift. Okay, there's another element that I want to introduce to you now. Also, you must be careful to note if you have to transform the question into an indirect question, or if you need to use the interrogative. Interrogatives, by the way, are the W question words: who, what, where, when, why, and how. Or if you have to use if, or whether. In some cases, you're going to have to insert if or whether. In some cases, you have to change a direct question into an indirect question. All right. How and why? Okay, let's see if we can learn by looking at examples. All right. Okay, with an interrogative, first of all, in this case, why? So the direct speech, what was actually said, why don't you speak English? All right. I'm going to report it later. Reported speech. Let's look at the changes. He asked me, here's my introduction phrase. He asked me why I didn't speak English. All right. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to have an introductory phrase. He asked me, we have to insert, we have to change pronouns, me and I. You becomes I. He asked me why I didn't speak English. Notice that, okay, in the question, classic sentence structure for question, classic example here. I mean, they're all like this. The subject noun here is you. It has been transposed, reversed, switched with the first auxiliary verb. All right, so the statement would be, for example, you don't speak English would be the statement form. You don't speak English. In the question form, you reverse you and don't. If you need to add an auxiliary, who, what, where, why, when, that goes in front of the reversed auxiliary or helper verb, the subject noun, and of course our main verb and object noun. So we change the sentence, the word order in a question. We always do that. Notice what happens in reported speech after our introduction. He asked me why I, subject noun, didn't. Okay. Interesting. The subject noun and auxiliary switch back to regular sentence structure for regular sentences, for statements, that is to say. Even though we have included the interrogative, it's still a period here at the end of the sentence, not a question mark. So there you go. Why I didn't. Also notice backshift. Don't speak is present simple. Didn't speak, past simple. So we need to use backshift and then speak English, and that's it. Okay, so when you use an interrogative, be aware that you're changing it to a statement, so you have to use statement word order, so that also changes. Okay. All right, we'll practice that in just a second. In a question without an interrogative, direct speech. For example, do you speak English? No interrogative. When we report it later, he asked me, again, notice insertion of whether or if. He asked me if I spoke English. Okay. All right, we need to use do in the question form, auxiliary do, again, reverse with the subject noun you, and main verb followed by the main verb speak. Okay, once again, we have to use classic normal statement word order. In reported speech, I, subject noun, spoke English. But we preface it with one of these little subordinators, if or whether. Okay, I personally have a hang-up with using whether. I guess this is my personal problem, but I will share it with you now. I have no problem using if. He asked me if I spoke English. Okay. When I use whether, I guess I had some teacher who influenced me as a child. I personally can't do it without saying or not. I just can't do it. I don't know why. He asked me whether I spoke English or not. For me, mentally, I don't know what my problem is. I know that technically speaking, grammatically, you do not need or not. But whoever taught me English taught me that you have to have or not with whether. Just telling you. It sounds much more natural to me. Possibly that's an American versus British thing. Okay, so let's try both of these. Let's try with an interrogative, and then we'll try one without an interrogative before we move on to some other features here. Heidi, with an interrogative, so I guess start out.
Teacher asked me.
Okay. All right. Okay, this is the direct speech.
Did you finish
Okay.
cleaning?
This is from the teacher.
Did you finish cleaning your house?
Okay, that's without an interrogative. Okay, all right, we'll do without first. That's fine. All right, that's fine. No big deal.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. No problem. We can try the other way later. Did you finish cleaning your house? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Teacher asked me if I had finished cleaning my house.
The teacher asked me
if I had finished cleaning my house.
Okay, very good. That's it. All right, inclusion of if, and that is a statement, period. Excellent job, because we haven't even talked about it. Okay. All right. Did you finish? This is interesting. Did. Oh, yeah. Okay, did. Simple past tense. Right. Not do, but did. So the first question is in the simple past. Correctly. Very good job. Heidi correctly used backshift. Backshift for simple past, you need to convert it to the past perfect using auxiliary had. This is absolutely correct. Great. Good job. And she included the if, which we have to do if there's no interrogative. If I finish cleaning my house. That's it. Perfect. All right. Good job. Demas, you want to try? Okay, we'll try first without an interrogative, and then we'll do it with an interrogative.
Did you do
Question.
any?
Yep.
Yeah, question. Yeah, question. Did you do? Did you do any sport activities?
Okay.
he asked me.
Okay, so reported speech. All right. Sorry, let me catch up to you. All right.
Mhm.
Okay. He asked me.
He asked me if I um, if I did
Mm,
any sport activities, or maybe if I had done.
there you go. Yes. Yes, that's right. Instead of if I did, definitely need to use the back shift. If I had done.
If I had done any sport activities. Mhm.
Period. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Very good. You can, okay, again, you both used if, you can use whether as well.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, Heidi, another one, this time using an interrogative. Who, what, why, when, where, how much, how often. Whatever.
How often?
Yeah, maybe. Sure, why not?
Ask
That's
me
an that's a
how
phrasal interrogative, but
how often
yeah, okay.
how often do you go to the supermarket? Every
All right. Excellent. How often do you go to the supermarket? Okay. All right. Now this is our direct speech. Okay. Reported speech. Now, how are you going to report this later?
Ask me how often I go to the supermarket.
Yeah. Okay. Now, all right. Period. All right. He asked me how often I go to the supermarket. All right. Uh, all right. He asked me, and then the interrogative, the subject noun in the normal statement, subject noun, then the verb. Go. Okay. How come you didn't backshift?
Oh, because it's usual.
Because it
That's
didn't.
my custom.
Because it's how often. You're talking about. This is very interesting, actually. You are correct, and I'm surprised you got this right. But you're absolutely correct because the how often is. I mean, you're talking about what is a regular activity, what is normal, which is exactly why you use the present simple tense to express something that is normal, habitual, or considered as the state of the way things are. The sky is blue. Right. Uh, right. So you're asking about a habit. So when you're discussing it, you again, you really can't backshift here. So this is a very special case. Because of the nature of the interrogative itself, you're asking a question about a habit. I have to use the corresponding verb tense. So I can't do backshift here. He asked me how often I went to the supermarket. Um, he asked me how often I go to the supermarket. Actually, it's possible to use backshift, but you don't have to, and I think Heidi's better. Heidi's solution here to use present simple tense is better. You're asking about something that's true. So another overriding idea here, um, for all of this reported speech, all of them, regardless, whether it's requests or questions or statements or whatever. Always remember that if you are the speaker and you're doing the reporting, you are the reporter. If you still think the information is true in the sentence, then you don't have to use backshift. All right. If there's any room for doubt, then you must backshift. For example, a statement like yesterday. Okay. If the well, I want to give you an example of that where you have to use backshift. All right, a direct statement is I hate peas. All right, that's your direct statement. Okay, and let's say the situation is you're going to do reported speech. The situation is the next day. Okay, next day you walk in and the person who said I hate peas is sitting there with a giant bowl full of peas, eating it. What are you doing? You might say, reported speech. You might say, wait a minute. Yesterday, you told me that you hated peas. Okay, something's wrong. All right, but today you are eating 4 kilos of peas. Ah, that's crazy. We know that this information wasn't true. I hate peas. There's something suspicious about it. We're not 100% sure. I have to use backshift in this scenario. I don't have a choice. I must. But going back to Heidi's example, we know that this information is true, that he asks, how often do you go to the supermarket? That's really the fact that he asked you a question is obviously true. So, okay, we don't need to do backshift in this case, and it makes more sense because of the nature of the interrogative. How often? Habitual. It makes a lot more sense to use a simple present. All right. Sometimes this stuff can be tricky. All right, Demas, I would like you to try to use an interrogative and change the sentence around.
Uh,
All right, direct speech.
What your last museum have you seen?
What? What? Again? Sorry.
What last museum have you seen?
Okay. I'm gonna. Okay. I need to modify this slightly. What is
Oh,
is the
what is it?
last museum? Because you're asking about a specific museum, so I need the. So
You have seen. You
what
have
is the
seen,
last?
yeah.
Yes, and then yes, you're absolutely correct. What is the last museum you have seen? Yes, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Ooh, yeah, you're making things nice and complicated. I like that. Okay, so how are you going to report that?
Mm-hmm. He asked me. He asked me what was the last museum you had seen. I had seen. I
Ah,
had seen.
yeah, very good. Okay, thought you were gonna trip up on that one. Doing a double back shift, double back flip. Okay. He asked me what was instead of is the last museum I had seen. All right. Present perfect. When we backshift present perfect tense, it becomes, again, just like simple past, both simple past and present perfect become past perfect. Okay. He asked me, yeah, now this would sound weird if you did not do backshift. This would sound a little odd. He asked me, what is the last museum I have seen? That would sound strange. Okay. I really can't explain why, but that sounds really weird to me without the backshift. It almost doesn't make sense to me here unless we use the backshift. Hmm. Sometimes I'm afraid reported speech is like that. Just like Heidi's sounds a lot more because of how often it sounds a lot more normal to not use backshifts. Yeah, sometimes, unfortunately, reported speech is like that. It's more. It can be about how it feels because we have that undefined. Is it true or is it not still true? Is there doubt? Is there many possible answers? Then you would tend to use backshift. In that case, there's many possible answers, right, to this initial question. So yeah, you're not asking about a habit there, so it would sound strange without backshift. Okay, anyway. All right, let's continuing. More about questions. Besides, all right, another point here. We had to work a little bit with pronouns and tense, but we haven't done anything with place and time expressions in questions yet. Besides, note that instead of that, you use the interrogative. If there's no interrogative, use whether or I. What are we talking about here with that? Okay. For example, a statement, all right? In a statement, regular normal sentence. Direct speech, he said she lives in London. All right. In reported speech, we would insert that. He said that she lived in London. All right. Interrogative, where does she live? He asked where she lived. Okay, we basically already looked at this. Okay, we're using backshift here. We no longer need does, not a question anymore, it's a statement. Okay, so I guess what we're saying here is that instead of using that with an interrogative, you use the interrogative in the same place. Okay. Question without interrogative, all right. Does she live in London? He asked whether she lived in London or if she lived in London. All right, same thing. All right, know that. Okay, that's a minor point, so let's just continue. It is also important you use an indirect question in reported speech, i.e., after the interrogative, or whether or if, you continue the sentence as if it were a statement. Subject, verb, word order, normal word order. The auxiliary verb do is not used in indirect questions. Okay, I think we already know that. Okay. All right. Where does she live? He asked where she lived. I guess he asked where she lived is an indirect question, but wait, how would we report? Let's play around with, okay, if the direct speech is an indirect question, does that change anything? Let's try it out. For example, direct speech, okay, a stranger asked, could you tell me what time it is? All right, Heidi, how could I report this?
Could you tell me what time is it?
Right, this is an indirect question. A direct question is, what time is it? That's direct. Indirect, could you tell me? Okay.
Oh,
All right, so reported speech, what are we going to do here?
ask me. What time? What time was it?
Okay, wait, let me, sorry, I was coughing there. All right, how would you say it? Let's start again. Reported speech?
He asked me what time was it. It was. What time was it?
He asked me what time it was. Okay, you're simplifying it by just cutting out the indirect part of the first question. So you just cut it out, and basically you're reporting what really was the direct question. He asked me what time it was. Yeah, okay, that's perfectly acceptable. It gets across the information. There's no change in information. That's all right. Simplify it. Yeah, that works. Simplify it to a direct question. Is there another way to do it, Demas, where we could actually report this indirect part?
He asked me mm,
Mm-hmm.
that
Ah,
yeah,
you're
you could tell me what time it was.
he asked me, okay. Ah, in truth, I think you're overthinking it. Remember, question without interrogative. Okay, could, or could is a modal. It's not an interrogative. All right, so the same rules apply.
If
Ah,
whether
yeah.
if
Either or with. Yeah,
he
okay.
asked me if I could tell what time it was.
I could tell object noun, him.
Yeah, him. Tell him
He asked me if I could tell him
what
what
time
time it was.
it was.
Okay, so there you go. So it is possible to actually report the indirect part of the the indirect part of the direct question. The first part. All right, you can report the whole thing. Oh boy, it's complicated with directs and indirects here. All right, just do it the same way you do as if there's no auxiliary. Include if or whether. Same thing. So it is possible to report the whole thing. You know, again, reporting it as a direct question is not really that big a deal because essentially that is the question. What time is it? All right. So it still works regardless. Okay. Let's see here. Let me think if I can think of another complicated sort of question to attempt to report. Okay. Uh, uh, okay. All right. Let's try direct statement. Okay. Um, okay. Let's see. What do we do if the direct statement is this? All right. Would you mind closing the window? Uh, all right. We're gonna try whole thing. I'm freezing. Okay, that is the whole code. There you go. What's the problem here? Okay, I see. Okay, Heidi, there's the whole thing. Would you mind closing the window? I'm freezing. How are you going to report that?
He asked me. He asked me
Okay, hang on. Sorry.
to close the window. And
You're making it easy, huh? Okay. Yeah, all right. You asked me to
the window
close the window. Okay.
and said he was freezing.
And okay, all right, wait. And he said he was freezing. All right. Okay, again, you kind of simplify the indirect question to a direct question. Close the window. All right, he asked me to close the window. All right, a request, you're using the infinitive, which you would do close the window, a command or request, direct command or request. Okay, very good. We would use the infinitive form. All right, I agree with you. And we use and here. Oh, I guess this is actually and the coordinating conjunction. So I need a comma here. All right. And he said he was freezing. Notice present continuous when we use back tense, okay, becomes past continuous. Is freezing or am freezing becomes was freezing. All right. That works. Nothing wrong there. Very good. Demas?
Yeah.
All right.
He asked me if I would mind closing the window.
Okay, there you got it. All right. That's it. Yeah.
Closing the window. Dot.
Yeah.
He was freezing.
Oh, and then a separate sentence. He was freezing. Okay, and without. All right. Okay, another interesting aspect. Well, thank you. Very good. We already know that he asked me. Okay, very good. You're absolutely right. You're both right. Now Heidi included, and he said she included this statement to introduce what was actually spoken, but Demas has chosen to report what he was thinking or feeling. Ah, okay. We don't necessarily need to use he asked me, he told me, he demanded, he whatever, he questioned me. We don't need to use what those introductory statements. We can do reported speech, and usually, as in this example, to talk about what somebody's thinking, thinking or feeling. Yeah, all right. He was freezing. We still using the back shift, right? Okay, because this obviously happened in the past. Interesting. Okay, another interesting aspect there. Okay, can you guys think of any weird questions? Heidi, what is the weirdest question? Can you think of any other strange kind of? Oh, what about a tag question? Ooh, let's try that. Ooh,
Um,
tag question. Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Star Wars.
Okay.
The Star
Direct.
Wars
Statement.
was Star Wars was very exciting movie, wasn't it?
Ah, there we go. Comma. Wasn't it? All right. What's going to happen when we have to report this? This is not rehearsed. I did not plan on thinking about a tag question. All right. Hmm. Well, what are you going to do, Heidi?
It's very difficult.
It is. This is, I've never thought about this before. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I have not.
You said Star Wars has been very exciting. I can't understand why. How can I say? Wasn't
Ah, that's
don't
been
think no.
very exciting. Yeah, how do you report the tag, wasn't it? Uh, okay, you really can't. Yeah, I'm kind of stuck here.
Hadn't it?
Yeah, that's not gonna work. Hadn't it?
Hadn't it? No. No?
No. He said Star Wars had been very exciting. Okay. I don't know. Let's try it. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Not hadn't.
Hadn't it? Ooh, this is weird. He said Star Wars had been very exciting, hadn't it?
It's very strange.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. Yeah, I would probably choose some alternate way to report this. Demas, help us out. We've dug ourselves into a hole here. Do you have any brilliant ideas? I think technically speaking, this is correct, but it certainly sounds weird and it's hard to understand, and I don't like it. Demas, how could
I,
we? Yeah, all
I,
right.
I, I don't have any idea.
You don't? Come on, help us.
He
Okay.
said, that Star Wars maybe.
Ah. Oh, okay. What? That's Star Wars. Sorry.
Star Wars mm, had been very exciting.
Yeah. Well, now we're stuck in the same place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hadn't it?
Yeah. Same thing. Okay. All right. Inclusion of that is fine. Certainly not wrong, and it helps maybe understanding a little, but now we're stuck in the same place here with this crazy tag and backshift. Okay, let me give it a try. My turn. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Now, of course, I don't know what I'm doing, so bear with me. He asked me if Star Wars had an exciting, or even better, instead of if, whether Star Wars had been exciting or not. Okay, now, you know what? My answer here would be totally dependent on the actual context. It occurs to me your reported speech, you might have to change how you report this depending on how the person said it to begin with. For example, in a tag question, if we use rising pitch in the tag, then it means it's actually a question. For example, Star Wars was very exciting, wasn't it? If you're actually asking it as a question, I could do something like this in my reported speech. He asked me whether Star Wars had been exciting or not. It makes it clear that this was a question. However, if the direct statement to begin with, the tag question was used as basically more like a statement to spark conversation with a falling pitch on the tag, you might have to do something differently. For example, Star Wars was very exciting, wasn't it? Star Wars was very exciting, wasn't it? In which case, you report it as a statement, I suppose. So something more along the lines of, he told me that Star Wars had been exciting. Or if it's still true, Star Wars was exciting. So I think that you might have to consider, this is very complicated. Oh, all right. You might need to consider, if you're going to report a tag question, is it actually being used as a statement or actually as a question? In which case you might alter your approach to how to report it. Although this is, you guys, both of you, your approach was closer to trying to follow the rules. It does sound a little weird. He said Star Wars, wait, he said Star Wars had been very exciting, hadn't it? Yeah, it's just weird to add a tag in a reported speech. It just doesn't work. It sounds very clumsy. I would say don't do this. Don't add a tag in reported speech. That sounds very awkward. I've never heard anybody do this in my entire life. I don't know what the grammatical rule, if it's technically allowed or not allowed. I actually don't know. But combing my lifetime of experience, I have never heard anybody do this. Ever. Ever in my life. We're in new territory here. Okay. Anyway, all right. That was exciting. Bold new territory. We've only got a minute or two left, so let me just ask you, Heidi, have you seen the new Star Wars movie?
Yeah, that's right.
You
I'm a
have?
big fan of Star Wars.
Oh, you are, really? Okay. I also saw the new Star Wars movie. My favorite character, and I thought the funniest person in the film was actually Chewbacca.
Yeah.
He was funny.
Do you know how big fan I am? I visited the location of Star Wars in Tunisia.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I took a lot of pictures.
No kidding. So this would be where they did all the Sand World scenes, like
Yeah,
the place
and
where.
even Anakin Skywalker
Yeah,
grew up in as a slave, right?
yeah.
And
Right.
we visited that house
No way. Really?
in the Sahara Desert.
Oh my goodness. Far out. Okay. Very cool. I think I asked Demas yesterday or maybe the day before. I don't. Did I ask you this week if you saw Star Wars yet?
What?
Have you seen the new Star Wars movie yet?
Oh, no, I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
have some plans about that.
Oh, that's right. I asked you about this before. That's right. You're gonna go
Yeah,
with your child later. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it's gonna be historical. This movie. I think it's gonna break all the records. It certainly looks like it's already broken several records, but it looks like it's gonna break some more. Maybe the highest grossing movie ever. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for sticking with me. Tomorrow, same time, we'll look at reported speech again, kind of a review plus some more sophisticated, really complicated material as well. Both. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Time
very
for
much.
lunch.